apple butter, beef bacon, and a jerky that shouldn't exist till now. This is the kind of recipe that sounds like a dare that someone made, not expecting me to follow through, so I had to do it. It should be sweet, smoky, savory, and honestly, I'm a little intrigued by this one. Let's do this. Welcome back to jerky.com. I'm Doug, and today we're gonna do something that's gonna completely rewrite your jerky playbook. Now, chances are you haven't heard of either one of these things. Apple butter is kind of a regional thing, so if you didn't grow up in the Midwest or Appalachia, you might not even know it exists. And beef bacon, most people think that bacon only comes from pigs, but beef bacon is a whole different animal, literally. So taking two ingredients most people have never heard of and turning them into jerky, yep, buckle up, this one's gonna be different. So the apple butter brings this deep fruity sweetness that coats every bite, and the beef bacon has the chew and the fat, making this kind of the soul of this whole jerky project. So let's break it down. First up, beef bacon. So if you've never had beef bacon, you are probably missing out on what I think is one of the most underrated cuts in the game. It's made from beef belly, the same cut as pork bacon, but with a deeper, beefier flavor that really puts this one over the top. You get that same strip of fat running through it, which means you get the flavor and the moisture. Two things jerky desperately needs. Pork bacon kind of crisps up a little bit, but beef bacon, it chews, it has substance, it's got some weight to it. And then when you dehydrate it, you get this like super concentrated, almost primal beef flavor that's impossible to replicate with pork. It's chewy without being rubbery, it's rich without being greasy. I'm telling you, it's perfect. If bacon was a car, regular pork is a sedan, but the beef bacon, it's like a supercar. But now let's talk about the star of the show. Here's the deal, apple butter has no dairy in it. It's not applesauce, it's not jelly, it's something else entirely. It's basically slow cooked apples and spices that's been reduced down to like this thick, caramelized, almost molasses-like spread. You get all the natural sweetness of the apples, but with this like deep, warming spice. You get a little cinnamon, there's some cloves, sometimes even nutmeg. But here's the deal, it's not overly sweet. The extra spices in there really help make it balanced, so it's like complex and it's got some real depth to it. Most jerky marinades rely on the soy sauce or Worcestershire to do all the heavy lifting. But apple butter, this becomes the foundation for this recipe. It really clings to the meat. It kind of caramelizes a little bit during dehydration. It gives you this like glossy, sticky finish that you just can't stop looking at. And when it hits the heat of the jerky making machine, that's where the sugars really start to break down. Then you get this deep, rich, almost candy-like crust on the bacon. And that's the magic. That's why the apple butter is the star of this show. All right, enough yapping. Let's build this sauce. We're gonna start with a half a cup of apple butter. This is your base and your anchor for everything. Dump that into the Ninja, then 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. This is for the umami, for the balance. It's like a supporting actor, it's not the lead. 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire, same idea, get a little bit of tang, some depth. We're not drowning the apple butter with it. 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar. This keeps everything bright, cuts through the richness just a little bit. You're definitely gonna want a little acid in your jerky. Otherwise, it just kind of tastes a little flat. 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Now we're doubling down on that to get that caramel depth. 2 teaspoons of honey. This is just for a little smoothness on that sweetness. It rounds out the apple note and kind of gives you a sticky finish. 1 teaspoon of liquid smoke, just enough to remind you that this is jerky, this ain't candy. Half a teaspoon of cinnamon. That gives you a little background warmth. You won't taste it directly, but you'll miss it if it's not there. Half a teaspoon of black pepper, just to keep things interesting. This is kind of a staple. Half of a teaspoon of garlic powder. This is more backbone, it gives it more structure. Trust me, you need this one. Then 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger. Trust me, this won't be overpowering. This is just gonna be subtle. It just lifts the fruit note a little bit. And then if you want just a little kick, add a tiny pinch of cayenne, just enough to wake it up a little bit. Now you're not adding the cayenne to make it hot. You're just putting it in there to kind of make it all just a little bit awake. Now blend this together until it's completely smooth. You want that apple butter fully incorporated. No clumps, no streaks. Now you want this to be like a thick glaze at this point. It's almost barbecue sauce-like, but it has that apple butter color. All right, marinade's done. Now let's talk about the meat. I'm using pre-sliced beef bacon here, already cut to the perfect thickness for our jerky. Now, if you're slicing your own, you're gonna wanna slice it about 1/8 of an inch. Too thin, and it's gonna be crispy like chips. Too thick, and you're not gonna get it to dry right. So around 1/8 of an inch is where I go on bacon. But with this pre-sliced stuff, I'm good to go. I'd find pre-sliced if I were you. Now, sometimes these are a little wet. If they are, go ahead and pat them dry. You want that surface ready to just grab and latch onto that marinade. Now, I'm gonna lay these these out as much in a single layer as I can. Now we just pour the marinade right over the top. Now get in there with your hands. Really massage it in. Make sure every strip is completely coated on all surfaces. This isn't the time to be all dainty and gentle. Really work it in. Get under the strips, flip them over. You want that apple butter clinging to every single surface. Once you got that down, just cover this up and throw it in the fridge. Now you want to do this for at least 4 hours. Overnight's even better. We're gonna do it for 24 hours. You really want that marinade to soak in and really penetrate and really be part of the meat. Now when you're ready to dehydrate, just pull it out and let it come up to room temperature for about 20 minutes. Now it's time to load up the jerky making machine. First I'm gonna hit these trays with a little bit of pan spray because I don't want these strips to stick. Trust me, it sucks when you gotta pry these things off without breaking them. Then lay each strip flat on the trays. Don't want to crowd these things, like they need room. They need air to circulate all around them. Now, time to load up the jerky making machine. I'm gonna set it at 158 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, now this is gonna take somewhere between 4 and 8 hours, kind of depending on how thick you slice it, how thick your marinade is, and how chewy you want it. So I got it set at 4 hours. I'm gonna start babysitting this. We'll see where it ends up. All right, it's been a little over 3 hours, 3 hours and 16 minutes. See how this is going. You can see some of that grease starting to pile up. Definitely smells good in here. That fat's just starting to render, but it looks like that's gonna take a little while to do that. I'm saying this one's probably gonna take about 6 to 8 hours total, so we'll just keep babysitting it, but definitely greasing up on this. I'm gonna continue babysitting this for a few more hours. The next time you see this, it's gonna be done and ready to taste test. All right, moment of truth. Apple butter beef bacon jerky. Look at how that shines. That glaze set perfectly. It smells sweet and smoky. It should be rich and chewy. These are 2 ingredients that most people have never even heard of. All right, I think this is finally done. It's been sitting in the dehydrator for about an hour, coming to ambient temperature, and this is kind of the texture that we're looking for. Kind of bends without snapping. It's a little bit wet and a little bit sticky. Most of that comes from the fat rendering. That's the texture we're looking for right there, but we're not quite done yet. We got one more step, and this is an optional glaze finish. I'm gonna need you to trust me on this one. We're just gonna take a little bit of that extra apple butter and then just thin it out with some apple juice. Then I'm gonna brush it over the finished jerky. Then I'm gonna put it back in the dehydrator for about an hour or so, really set that glaze, and then we're finally done. I know I keep framing this as an optional step, but trust me, once you do it, it won't be optional anymore. All right, boys, let's see if this actually worked.
Sticky.
Oh, it is. You could tell it's on that one side. That one side's definitely stickier than the other.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Ooh.
That flavor is so good.
That's appley.
It's more savory than I was expecting.
The more I chew it, the more savory it gets, I feel.
I expected it to be super sweet, but it's not. It's more savory than sweet.
I like this.
That's legit.
It's way better than I ever would have expected it would be.
All right, what are we tasting? What's the first flavor that hits?
For me, it's apple.
Yep. Same. Yeah, even before the bacon.
The cinnamon nutmeg is way more prominent than I was expecting. So that's the second thing I get. The apple and spices definitely work with this meat. What do you guys think of the texture?
I was worried at first, but I think it works with this cut and this flavor profile.
Yeah, my initial bite was a little hard to tear, but other than that, yeah, I like it.
It has a wide range of textures for one jerky product. Which
No,
is
that's
weird,
true.
right?
That's a good point.
I wish everyone could experience this one.
It's a good one.
So usually when we make this stuff, we usually pat it dry at the end. Definitely when you make this at home, paper towel it down. You can also definitely tell we put that layer of glaze on this. The glaze layer definitely has a much cleaner surface than the side that we didn't, but it definitely added a lot of punch to this one. Is this stuff we should continue to play with, both the beef bacon and the apple butter? What are your guys' thoughts on the flavor profile and the meat type?
I like to see a little bit of both. Maybe another beef bacon. Definitely I want to try, I think, apple butter on something else just to see how it goes, because I like that flavor.
Beef bacon for sure. I'm a little indifferent on the apple butter, but I know it works for this. I'm just unsure if it works for other meat types.
I wonder if we could make apple butter out of other things, like pineapple butter and things like that. Sometimes the fruit flavor is hard to pull out when we make it into jerky form, but in this one, it definitely pulls through. So what kind of jerky lover is gonna love this one?
I don't know, it's hard because it's sweet, but it is savory too. I don't know.
I think it's more savory than it is sweet. So I can see sweet lovers liking it and savory lovers liking it.
Soft and tender. I think people into soft and tender stuff, this has that bend, that give that they're looking for.
All right, so $1 million question. Is this in the Test Kitchen Jerky Hall of Fame?
This is the toughest one, I feel like. This is hard, because it's up there for me.
So there's some doubt. There's some doubt in your mind.
It's tough, because we made some good ones here recently, so.
Kenny?
I'd say yes, because this has some qualities about it that separates it from the other jerkies we've made. I think we're onto something here with the apple butter and the beef bacon.
Definitely the uniqueness of both of those on its own puts this one up there. I say this one's in the Hall of Fame. I think if we dropped beef bacon to our taste testers, they would absolutely love it. This one's really good. This
I'll
one's
say
really
it
good.
too. Hall of Fame.
You got peer pressure in it.
I was thinking it the whole time.
Just kidding, I hate it.
Oh yeah.
All right, so to wrap it up, we're gonna put this one in the jerky.com Hall of Fame. We're gonna continue messing with beef bacon and apple butter recipes. So if you have any ideas for either one of those, let us know down in the comments. Otherwise, that's a wrap for this one, and we'll see you next time in the test kitchen.